Okay, let's dive right in, because what we're talking about today is a truly historic moment for the world's largest democracy. This is a big one. So on that date, July 1st, 2024, India did something huge. It didn't just amend a few laws. It completely replaced the foundational pillars of its criminal justice system. We're talking about throwing out the old Indian Penal Code from 1860. Yep, 1860, a relic from the British Raj, and bringing in a whole new set of laws. On the surface, it's a completely fresh start.
And this quote from Prime Minister Modi really captures the feeling behind the change. The message was crystal clear. This is about decolonization. It's about finally getting rid of laws from a time of slavery and creating a legal system that's truly Indian, a moment of national pride.
But here's the big question, the one we're really digging into today. Was changing the names and shuffling the chapters actually enough? Or did that old colonial way of thinking just find a new home in a different book?
Well, according to some deep analysis by Dr. Ryan Baidya, the answer is pretty concerning. His argument is that even with all the new packaging, the core relationship of the system, one where the state is the master and the citizen is the servant, is still very much alive and well.
And this quote just hits you, right? Masters versus subjects. That's not just some fancy metaphor. It's the absolute core of the critique. The idea that the system is still built for control, not for democratic service.
And if you want to see what that looks like in numbers, well, here you go. This chart is startling. When you peel back the new cover and actually look at the substance, Dr. Baidya's analysis finds that about 70% of the old colonial-era Indian Penal Code is basically just copied and pasted into the new laws. So you have to ask, how much has really changed?
So let's get into the specifics. We're going to look at a few clear examples that show how some of these old colonial-era rules are still around, just wearing a new uniform.
All right, let's start with something fundamental, the power to arrest. The old law gave police really broad powers to arrest someone without a warrant. And the new law, well, it keeps that exact same wide-ranging power with very few checks and balances. The fundamental power dynamic between police and citizen, it's been preserved. Now, for a really controversial one, sedition. That old law was notorious for being used to silence critics. The big headline was that it's been repealed, and that sounds great. But when you look closely, its ghost is still there. A new section now criminalizes so-called subversive activities, a term that's super vague. So the tool is still in the toolbox, it just has a different name. Now, to put this into perspective, think about what you see in movies from the US. The Miranda rights. You have the right to remain silent. It's a basic protection. But in India, even with this massive legal overhaul, there is still no requirement for the police to tell you what your rights are when they arrest you. That's a huge gap in a system that claims to be citizen first. And all of this is happening within a system that is already completely overwhelmed. Get a load of this number. 50 million. That's how many cases are just sitting there, pending in Indian courts. With a backlog that massive, for millions of people, justice delayed means justice is totally denied.
And the human cost of this is just staggering. This number, 1,731, represents the people who died in police custody in just 1 year. That's nearly 5 people every single day. It's a statistic that absolutely screams for real structural change, not just a cosmetic one.
So if just changing the law books isn't the answer, what is? Let's switch gears and look at a vision for what genuine reform could actually look like, moving from a system of control to one of actual service. So here's a proposed 5-point plan. It's not about small tweaks. It's about rebuilding from the ground up. You start with independent oversight because you need accountability. Then a charter so citizens actually know their rights. Then you attack the delays with deadlines and ensure everyone has access to legal help. And finally, you retrain law enforcement with a new mindset to serve, not to rule. But the vision for change gets even bigger. Even more ambitious than that. It goes beyond just reforms and proposes creating a brand new institution, one with some serious teeth. It's called the Police of Police System, or POP, and the concept is both simple and revolutionary, an entirely independent body with one job and one job only, to police the powerful. We're talking everyone from the local cop on the beat all the way up to politicians and top officials. And look at how this would work. It would be totally separate from political influence. It could run its own sting operations and surprise audits. It would even have its own judicial power to get quick convictions. And crucially, it's not just for the police, it's for all public servants. This is a system designed from top to bottom for one thing: real accountability. This chart really puts it all into context. You look at other major democracies like the UK or Germany, and you see they have strong, independent oversight bodies. Political influence is kept low. And then you see India's column: weak oversight, significant political influence. It shows you exactly the gap that a system like POP is trying to fix. So let's bring it all home. What's the end game here? It all comes back to that powerful idea we started with. At the end of the day, the biggest takeaway is this: real decolonization isn't about the words in a book. It's about changing the entire culture. It's about creating a system where the government and its officers answer to the people instead of ruling over them. And this quote just says it all, doesn't it? The entire point of all this, the reforms, the new systems, is to fulfill that one simple, powerful promise: to let citizens finally be the masters of their own republic, not subjects living in it. And that really leaves us with one final thought for you to chew on. Forget the laws and the systems for a second. When you get right down to it, what does a truly just, a truly decolonized system of justice actually look like to you? It's a question every single democracy needs to keep asking itself.